Okay, welcome back, everyone. Another chapter summary. Congratulations, made it all the way through chapter 5, all about phones. All right, here's what I'll tell you. Again, phones and referrals are the two most important skills that you need to learn in order to be successful in this career. I'll say that again. Phones and referrals are the two most important skills that you need to learn to be successful in this career. Now, one thing I can tell you is when it comes to phones and how to practice it and the role playing and so on and so forth, all right, is I can tell you this much. With the presentation, we can role play a lot of that, and you're going to cover just about 99% of the scenarios and be pretty well ready for them. With phones, we can do the same thing. We're going to role play with you and practice with you and prep you. But the only thing that will really help you prepare yourself for like scheduling and making appointments and doing your own phone calls is literally just doing it yourself. Just doing it yourself. So at the conclusion of this chapter, you're going to do a couple of things like normal. Now, number one, you're going to reach out to Matt Prokop. Here's his number again. Class from the agency trainer, and also at the top of the chapter. And then number two, you're going to reach out to your managers and let them know that you'd finished that you finished chapter 5. And this is very, very important. For whatever reason, if you have not been on a call session with your team, if you haven't been there to observe, that's the very first thing you're doing. Okay? You're going to ask your managers, when is the next call session? I want to be there to observe. And I need you to make sure that you set aside at least 2 hours to really observe it. All right? The other thing you're going to talk with your managers about is you're going to ask them, when is the next time that we can role play this and I can start making calls live? All right? You should be excited for it at this point. You should be excited for it. Phones are how you start building your schedule. You need to practice it, and you need to just kind of jump into the fire. There's no other way around it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. We've all been there. We've all been nervous. It happens, okay? But if you're not able to understand how many calls that you need to make, how often you should be doing it, how many appointments you need each day, you're going to really struggle. And that's really the key concept, one of the key concepts from this chapter. So you should, by now, know how to do a few things. You should know how many appointments you need per day, how many calls you need to make per day. All right, the average call to contact ratio. That means calls versus someone answers the phone. You should know, in general, what our average show ratio is. That means how many appointments you set versus how many appointments are actually show up and are there for you to present to. Okay? You should know all these things. And you should have them, if not memorized, written down somewhere accessible on a regular basis. You should be confident with how to navigate through the different phone scripts, how to use them, how to use the scripts and the rebuttals together. You should be competent with how to use impact, how to look at a lead, decide what kind of lead it is, and use the appropriate script. You should be competent with making calls. You should be able to say the script on the phone, be able to have some energy, some enthusiasm. You should be able to practice it. You should be competent with doing those things and understanding how to incorporate all of that together. Because phones are really where energy starts, is where rapport completely begins. And the last thing I'll leave you off with is you must know how to solidify your appointments. You must know how to solidify your appointments. The most important part of setting an appointment is solidifying it. All right, I'll give you another little pro tip here, gang. Tell you something is if you set an appointment and you're not very confident that they're going to be there at the time that you set them for, well, guess what? They aren't going to be there. So make sure you're solidifying your appointments. An easy way to think of it is if you ever hear like an old radio jingle, right? Is around here in Boston we have this thing called Cars for Kids. All right, it's 1-877 Cars for Kids, and every time you hear it, you never stop hearing it. So the reason is because you just hear it so often. So when you're solidifying your appointment, if you say, Joe, you say you're talking to Joe and you schedule him at 7 o'clock, you're simply going to say to him, Joe, perfect, I've got you in there scheduled for 7 p.m. Tonight. Now, is there any reason that, you don't think that you would be there at 7 p.m.? No? Okay, I'm just checking because since I set that time aside at 7 p.m. for you, it means I'm not able to set that time aside for another family. So right there in a matter of about 10 seconds, I've said it 3 times. So he's 3 times more likely to remember it. Make sure that you're texting your appointments, emailing your appointments. You can even have them write down the time. Make them do this. Make sure that you're doing this. You will solidify your appointments, I promise. And you're setting yourself up for fantastic levels of success, because now that we've gone through the whole beginning part of the presentation, you know how to navigate through it. So you know how to set an appointment. You know how to navigate through the first part of the presentation. You know how to collect referrals. Now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes about how we really make money here, which is getting into the survey. And the survey is the needs analysis survey is really where you make your sale. And you're going to learn all about that in the next chapter. So strap in, get ready for it, press the reset button if you have to, and I'll see you there.